Northwestern can be one of the more unpredictable teams each year in college football. And we'll see what this projection looks like for 2025. But first, we'll look back at the last 4 years. And you can see in 21, our projection was 7-5. They went 3-9. And then when the projection was 6-6 in 22, they went 1-11. And then in 23, projection was 5-7. They went 7-5. And in 2024, 6-6 projection, they went 4-8. So the last 2 years, so in 23 they were under the projection by 2 games, and then last year they were under the projection by 2 games, way under in 22. They did beat, no, excuse me, 23 they were over the projection by 2 games, so they were 7-5, over it by 2 games, but last year under it by 2 games. In 22 they were way under, and they were way under in 21 as well. So Northwestern is actually, for the last 4 years with our projected record formula, has been well under the projection every year except for 2023. So I don't know, maybe this is the year they surprise people. Like I said, this is a team that's really tough to predict. We will look at the schedule here, and this is the scale that we'll be using. So this is all based off of our tier rankings. Northwestern's a tier 5 team in those rankings, which means if they play another tier 5 team, it'll be a 40 to 60% game, a 50-50 game. If they play a tier 6 team at home, it'll be a 61 to 70% game. If that game's on the road, though, it does drop it to a 50-50 game, and that's kind of the way this works. So we'll start with the easier wins, and you've got one, Western Illinois. Northwestern should be able to take care of business in that game. I know, they've lost a group of 5 teams recently, and you never know, but this is an FCS team. I mean, Northwestern should be able to take care of business here. And then you've also got ULM, a group of 5 team, a little bit of a tougher game, but we've got it in the blue here. I think Northwestern should be double-digit favorites. Not a guaranteed win, but if they bring their A game, they should be able to pull this one off. And then we've also got a Big Ten game where they should be favored. That's Purdue. So Purdue is a tier 6 team. They are below Northwestern. This game's at home for Northwestern, so it's in the purple, 61 to 70. And those are going to be your 3 games that Northwestern will be favored in. I think, feel pretty confident about that. The rest of these games, it's going to be tough. We've got games here in the red: Oregon, Penn State, Illinois. Oregon and Penn State are tier 1 teams, so these are going to be in the red regardless. Illinois is a tier 2 team because it's on the road. That puts it in the red. These are the ones that you just really don't expect Northwestern to win. And I would even say, Michigan could possibly, just again looking at the human element, I'd probably put the Michigan game in the red as well. But there's no predictions here. This is all based off of our formula. And it's got Nebraska and USC, so those are tier 3 teams, but they're on the road, and that's why those games are in the orange. So yeah, those 3 games will be tough as well. You look at Oregon, Penn State, Nebraska, USC, Michigan, and Illinois. Don't really see Northwestern pulling off a win in any of those games, but if they were able to, that would obviously be huge for them. But if they don't, then they've got to win the rest of their games just to get to a bowl game. So then we've got Minnesota in here as well, a game where they should be, probably about a touchdown underdog. It is at home, so maybe you've got a chance there, but I think that one's going to be tough. Again, Minnesota's in tier 3, same tier as Nebraska and USC, but because this game's at home, that's why it's in the yellow. And then you look at Tulane and UCLA. So those are the 50-50 games. UCLA in the same tier, Tulane, group of 5 team. It is on the road. That one could be tough. We'll see. I think they had a lot of roster turnover there. But if you look at these two 50-50 games, Tulane and UCLA, and then you look at the 3 games where they should be favored, you've only got to find one more win if they're able to win those 5. I'm looking at Minnesota as probably being the most likely. That's probably their path to get to a bowl game, but the odds would say they're not going to win both the 50-50 games. They're going to lose one, but the odds would also say they're probably going to pull off a couple of upsets. And so when you average it all out, you get a projection of 5-7. So 5-7 is the projection for Northwestern. Just missing out on a bowl game would be a little bit better than last year, but again, it's tough to find wins on this schedule. It's tough to find 6 wins on the schedule. Now, I can find 3 or 4 or maybe even 5, but finding 6 or more than that, it is really tough with this schedule. You'd like to have maybe not have to play Tulane, have another easier non-conference game so you can maybe count on 3 non-conference wins, and then you've only got to find 3 conference wins. But let's say they lose to Tulane, then you've got to win 4 conference games, and I just don't see that happening. So I think they do have to beat Tulane if they're going to have a chance to get to a bowl game. But again, with our formula, projection for Northwestern is 5-7 in 2025.